Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.
6 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Board member roll call.
Angie Rawling.
Jamie Percy.
Brian Harris.
Mike Gardner. Approval of the agenda. Public comment. Approval of minutes. Minutes of November 10th, 2022 select board meeting. November 16th, special select board meeting. November 17th, special select board meeting. November 17th, emergency select board meeting. Warrants. Correspondence, ARPA committee, holiday and staff appreciation celebration. Excuse me. Old business, executive session for contractual. Executive session for legal. I don't think we're gonna need that. Public comment and adjourn. We're not gonna need the legal tonight, so we can take item 12 off.
Can that just be an open or not?
No, we're not.
No, it's not ready.
It's not ready.
Okay.
It's not ready to be taken care of tonight.
Make a motion to accept the agenda with the change, the omission of number 12.
I'll second.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Bob's not in, right?
I'd like to open up for public comment. Who does, Hannah?
Okay. Hello, gentlemen, and lady. Sorry.
Hold on, Jim, can you wait 1 minute? We need to turn the volume up, sorry.
Oh, no, take your time. That's good.
Okay.
Good, yep, thank you, Hannah.
Jim Costas, North Mason Hill Road. Hey, just want to recap on just a few things. Number one, I don't think it was, or maybe I missed it. Any recap on the racetrack? I think we're getting into the third winter of it. And I know the state said that they were going to somehow notify you guys with any updates. So if that can come up soon. Second, I noticed that our famous tag sale location on Route 7 is now starting to take on cars. So I just wasn't sure. I don't see any for sale signs on them. I do see a license plate on one, but I was just wondering if any action is taken with that location. Do we need a formal complaint? I mean, I'll be the first one or a formal complaint to say that what I see there is not being screened. And I think it's totally all against the ordinance that I think is valid now. So if that could come up sometime. And number three is, I know there was discussion on ARPA fundings and stuff like that. I think it's great that the town has such funds to help us out in some way. I just wanted to make sure that before we start making any decisions, if somehow we can make sure the road equipment, the roads and everything else are kind of all set. I hate to see something happen down the road. We have to go out and purchase something and the taxpayers have to do it when very easily we could maybe use some ARPA funds on it. So maybe, I know there was a select board member many years ago that wanted to try to come up with some kind of a 5-year plan on equipment purchases and things like that. So I was hoping that could get on the table. And yeah, you guys did discuss, and I don't want to dwell on it, that if there's possible funds could be used for some kind of development of economic people coming into town. I just want to make sure that there's, I mean, I've talked to a few people, they want to make sure it's a lot of transparency on this. And there isn't really much review on community development grant that the town has out there. I think there's a revolving account out there that I don't think anyone knows about, of just kind of where that stands, who maybe got it, is everything being paid back? So something like this maybe needs a process that if someone can't pay it back, if we go through some kind of abatement, similar to tax abatements and things like that. But I just bring these up for discussion and things that are thoughts and ideas like that. So I thank you very much and have a great night.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
I'm gonna take a minute and answer a couple of a couple of those things for you, Jim. I noticed that the cars are being, put into that location as well, and a couple other things. We're doing some research. I believe there is a permit in place for a car dealership there, a used car dealership or a retail sales. We just have to find it to make sure. And as far as, road equipment, I totally get what you're asking for. But Joel and I, converse a lot. That's when we set up. One of the things that we wanted done, or we did this year, after the election, was we set up, each select board member is responsible for different sections of the town. The road crew or wastewater, whatever, the road portion of it happens to be one of my places. And Joel does have a plan in place for his equipment. And we converse about that constantly. And I think he's doing an awesome job with it. We got a new loader coming, we put the roller on the grader. We bought a trailer, so we don't have to borrow a trailer to move equipment. Just all in the last, that's all happened in the last probably 18 months or so, I hear what you're saying and I appreciate that. I just want you to know, and I want everybody to know that we do have a plan in place and Joel's really good about that part of it.
Okay, now I want to thank you very much. Yes, Joel is doing a great job. My road is wonderful here, and I'm sure other people have a lot of praise for them. And if I don't talk to you guys again this year, happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Approval of minutes, November 10th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, corrections?
I'd just like to make let everybody know that I'm joined. Sorry, I was a couple of minutes late. But that also means you got to go around the room.
I know, thanks, Bob. It's okay. All those in favor of November 10th meeting, minutes?
Angie, I.
Jamie, I.
Bob, aye.
Brian, aye.
Mike abstain. Minutes of November 16th, the special select board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Jamie, I.
Bob, aye.
Brian, aye.
Mike, aye. November 17th, special select board meeting.
So moved.
Second it.
Any corrections? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Jamie, I.
Bob, aye.
Brian, aye.
Mike, aye. Minutes of November 17th, emergency select board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections? Questions? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Jamie, I.
Bob, aye.
Brian, aye.
Mike, aye. I'll move on to warrants. Accounts payable, 11/16, new town hall, $14,000 even.
So moved.
Second it.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Jamie, I.
Bob, aye.
Brian, aye.
Mike, aye. Accounts payable, 11/18, $883,132.46. And that's high due to the road taxes.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Jamie, I.
Bob, aye.
Brian, aye.
Mike, aye. Accounts payable, 11/23, $3,307,954.69, and that is due to school taxes.
So moved.
Second it.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Jamie, I.
Bob, aye.
Brian, aye.
Mike, aye. Accounts payable, 12/2, $17,458.74.
So moved.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Jamie, I.
Bob, aye.
Brian, aye.
Mike, aye. Payroll, 11/18, $10,993.43.
So moved.
Second it.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Jamie, I.
Bob, aye.
Brian, aye.
Mike, aye. Payroll 11/23, $11,070.57.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
I believe I got to abstain this one.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Brian, I.
Mike, aye. Payroll 12/2/22, $11,417.99.
So moved.
Second it.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Jamie, I.
Bye-bye.
Brian, I.
Mike, aye. Correspondence.
Okay, I have one to read to you all. This is from Dan Thompson from Forest Strategies LLC. To Pownal Select Board, Peter Janellis's property, which is on the Vermont Current Use Program, is scheduled to have logging treatments applied. These treatments are prescribed in a forest management plan that has been approved by the Bennington County Forester. In order to access Peter Janellis's property to accomplish these logging treatments, logging equipment will need to cross two properties: the Palmer property and the town of Pownal's 73-acre property west of Northwest Hill Road. The Palmer owners have already granted permission to set up a log staging area on their property and cross with logging equipment. I was informed by Alan Palmer that this was actually a right-of-way. The sketch I created shows the location of the existing skid trail, green dash line, that crosses the town of Pownal's property. On behalf of Peter Janellis, I am requesting permission to use the skid trail across the town's property. Upon completion, the trail will be free of any ruts or debris or water bars, and water bars will be reinstalled to control erosion. At this time, the water bars are absent. I will be supervising the logging operations.
And who is
Really, Daniel Thompson,
Okay.
and it's Forest Strategies LLC.
According to the map, it looks like they got it deeded right away for the logging wood use. Therefore,
There is a trail.
yes.
Yeah, and that was his understanding, that it's a right of way, but he just wanted to make sure that he was granted permission to cross the property.
I remember from looking at the property before, there's really no other way to get in there.
And the only thing that I would like to ask of, Dan Thompson
Okay,
is I would like some, before and after pictures of the skidway, the skid trail, whatever they're calling it, the right of the road. I would just like to see some before and after pictures of that. That's just,
That's a good idea.
well, to make sure that they're putting it back in so it's not gonna, deteriorate.
Right.
Yeah.
okay.
Make a motion to grant access for the
Forest Strategies LLC.
Forest, what'd you say?
Forest Strategies LLC.
Strategy LLC to clear the wood lot stated. Cut the wood lot stated.
With the pictures before and after.
Yeah, pictures before and after and the deeded right away.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion or questions, comments?
Is there a estimated time frame? I mean, do we put a limit on it or we don't have to, but just wanted to know.
I don't wanna speak for anybody, Bob, but I would bet they're gonna try to do it this winter because I believe there's some portions that aren't the, greatest if it gets wet.
Right.
They're gonna be into some pretty good mud. So I would bet that they're gonna do it on frozen ground.
Probably.
That'd be
Just a guess.
help limit the erosion control.
I can ask them for a timeline if you want.
And that's fine. I don't think it'll impact the motion. Well, I believe we can go ahead and approve it.
Any more comments, discussion? Good. All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Jamie, I.
Bye-bye.
Brian, I.
Mike, aye. Brings us to ARPA committee.
I'm thinking we can kind of make this short and sweet. I did do a little bit of research on how other towns designated their funds. And some of them had committees, some of them didn't. Most of them though did things like headings such as public health and then decided what percentage they would focus on. Or like access to open spaces or fighting homelessness or food security. So they were like topic or like headings or headlines that you would focus the money on, but then there's like subheadings of where that money would actually be going.
Categories.
I'm not seeing any business helping or anything like that. But my suggestion is I think it would be great, instead of developing its own committee, is maybe to task planning commission with helping organize these, the needs in the town, and sort of help come up with a strategy for people to apply and all that sort of stuff, if you think that would work.
One of the things that, because I know this has been floated around and it's one of the things that we had talked about, was economic development within our own town, trying to use some of the ARPA money. One of the thought processes that I had, if we were to go ahead with, say, we were gonna try to help out someone start a small business or help their small business grow or whatever. One of the things that I personally would like to see is if we had a committee, even if it was the planning commission, okay, I don't have a problem with that. I would like to see a person who is, either has been or is in the financial field, so that we're not giving money to something that's not potentially a sustainable business.
Viable business.
That's right. You know, I'm not that guy.
Right.
I ran my own business successfully, blah, blah, whatever, but I'm not that person to look at someone's business plan, so to speak, for the next 10 years and decide if it's good or bad or whatever. But I think if you had someone who, even if it's a retired person that's been in the banking business or whatever, or someone who's in it now, that's what they do. And I'm not talking about, I'm talking about somebody that's what they did or do for a living.
And maybe even, maybe even hiring a consultant to work with the planning or whatever committee. you
Whatever,
decide
that's right.
work With them.
That's right.
Yeah, someone that's.
If we were to decide that's what we're gonna do, I'm just saying, if it's a public health thing or homelessness or food shelters or that kind of stuff, like you were saying, we probably don't need that kind of a person. But if we were to offer, which I know that some places have.
With economic development, you're right, it would be beneficial to have.
Well, I just think it makes.
All of it, I think, planning wise.
Yeah.
To get the biggest bang for our buck is probably best to have.
Well, that and the
Well,
financial,
hang on. Go ahead.
I was gonna say a financial person will be better apt to help, with the wording of a document for us, because that's their life, basically.
Well, but I mean, we don't want to. Go ahead. Tom.
Thanks. I don't believe we should be in the business of favoring or helping out private businesses. And I thought that's what we had originally talked about last time. I know that I believe we saw that it was doable, but then you're favoring one business over another. And and I don't believe that's, from my standpoint, I don't believe that's appropriate for us to be doing. We ought to be looking at the access that we talked about to municipal property, for public property, those sorts of things, and not because if you help any business, you're doing it at the expense of another business. I'm sure we're all familiar with the term crony capitalism, and I don't think anybody has a positive view of that. But that's essentially what it is. It is government coming in and helping one business, and that's always at the expense of another. And so, to me, I don't believe any of this should be going to private businesses. That's going to be my vote, but that's I'm one of five, but I feel pretty strongly about it.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily disagree. I was just throwing that out there because I know that has surfaced in the past. And like I said, I've been thinking about that. And if we were to, as a board, decide that's what we were gonna do with some economic development, I don't want to be tasked with that. Certainly, I don't want the board to be tasked with that.
For me, the economic development would really come into, if we could spend the money we would have to find ways that we could make Pownal more attractive to businesses to come in and invest, rather than trying to do favors for individual businesses.
Yeah,
And that makes sense.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
Well, I know that right from the beginning, when we were talking about this money, we did have a few different individuals, speak out and ask if we were gonna do something. And at that point, I had said the same thing, that we were gonna work on municipal infrastructure first and then see what we had left over
So,
and decide what we were gonna do, because I didn't really, that was my opinion.
so I think what we should do is maybe we should come up with a plan right now as to who we want to task with, coming up with a list such as what you have there. And, who, do we want to task the planning commission with it? Do we want to make up a whole new committee? I think that's what we need to do first.
Yeah.
And then we can, whoever we decide to have as the committee, we can give them, hey, okay, we'd like to see this in a month. We'd like to see this 30 days from now, what you guys are looking for.
Right.
Or what you think.
And maybe with checkpoints, to be clear, and I think we all agree, but I want to make sure that the public hears it too. It'll be the select board that has the ultimate authority on where the money is going.
Right.
So, we're not looking to offload that to any other committee or anything else. We are looking for recommendations and hopefully options. So if we do that, we want to go options and we want to be able to discuss them with pros and cons. I think we need to be wary of setting a committee off to do a whole lot of work that we ultimately reject, because I don't want to be in the position of, well, we did all this work and now we did it for nothing. So we need to be pretty close to any work that planning commission or committee or however we go about it. We need to have checkpoints to know what direction they're heading and maybe redirect them if necessary before they get too vested in a direction.
And that's true. So maybe Bob, after we decide what we're gonna do for a committee, maybe we give them a 30-day window, but we'd like to hear from them. We give them a 4-week window, but we'd like to hear from them in 2 weeks.
Just some basic guidelines that they may have already started or.
Right. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm thinking out loud.
And we can provide some guidelines too before they get started, right? Like for example, we don't want to favor individual businesses. For example, we don't want to hand out money to individual businesses, or kind of set them in a direction. So I think we as a board have to come up with some kind of parameters before that we can communicate to a committee before they go. And I think this tangentially related, but remember the BCRC we brought in to talk about industrial areas. And I don't know that we've heard back from them, but I did watch the beginning where the BCRC representatives were talking about that initiative, and they were pretty spot on, I thought, with the planning commission. I would recommend that you guys go out and look at that. What it is, what it isn't. We were not looking to take somebody's land away and make it industrial. We were not looking to do some of the things that it sounded like, or that some people had the misconception of. But could the BCRC or some other organization also help us with direction on what other towns are doing and what has the most impact for economic development?
So I think what I'm gonna ask then is we have a regular meeting next week. I'm gonna ask each board member to come in with each one of us to come in with 3 things, ideas, however you wanna say it, of, what you think what you think we should use our ARPA money for. And, I'd also like you to participate in that as well.
Thanks.
Tara. Okay? I think that, and then we can go from there. Maybe we come up with 3 things that are unanimous, who knows? It's always exactly the same, but who knows? I doubt that's gonna happen.
How much is there gonna be? Cause to me, that's gonna dictate like the,
100,000.
okay.
I'm sorry, how much was that?
Just over 300,000. I can get exact numbers for the next
That's
week.
even after we've done
But, yep,
all the
that's
stuff.
minus schoolhouse and, the wastewater improvements.
okay.
That's what's left.
And then what we did for the town employees and all that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. So I think that's a good start. I think we put that on next week's agenda. We come in with 3 ideas, each one of us.
Okay.
Do a little thought process and we can discuss it at length. And also at that point, we can come up with what we're thinking of for a committee. If we agree with the planning commission or whatever, that's totally fine.
Also, if there's things that you think absolutely not, like Bob said, I don't think private businesses, if there's other things that you think in your head, like, whoa, this is a no-go for me, bring those too.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
That way, if you task a committee.
We'll
you
go with
have-
3 pros and 3 cons.
Personal.
How's that? And that's fine. Because we are the one that are ultimately, the board is ultimately responsible for the disbursement of this $300,000.
I mean, you think of it like, maybe like a collaborative with whatever committee you assign, kind of like the ordinance, the solid waste ordinance, you just work together and
Right.
Yep.
figure it out.
Anybody have anything else on the ARPA committee? Do you have anything else, Tara, anybody else have any questions or comments or ideas that we should bring forward? We'll put it on next week's agenda and we'll see where we go with it. Nice. Holiday and staff appreciation celebration.
Okay, that's kind of self-explanatory, but I was hoping that we could do a luncheon of some kind for all of the town employees, including road, wastewater, office staff, and transfer station. Just to sort of bring us all together and just have like lighthearted fun. Have a lunch and maybe do like a silly gift exchange or something like that. Not anything too, out of the box, but just looking for permission.
I'm all for that.
Absolutely.
Done with that?
And if I can do something to help,
Yeah.
Angie will cater it. She'll serve.
Cater.
I've done it before. I can do it again.
How do you want to handle that?
And the other piece is, apparently before I was here, there used to be a $25 gift
Yeah, I
certificate
was
that
gonna
was
bring
given
that
to
up.
all staff and
Yeah.
employees. That didn't happen last year, but we would like to do that again, so I just need like permission to do that too.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cause people, this time of year, you just need that little extra, shows the appreciation, and I think we're a really good team right now and we all really get along, and it would just be fun to not have it be so serious professional all the time and get together.
Right, my question actually was, how do we wanna, they're gonna have a holiday and staff appreciation celebration. My feeling is that we have,
Do a half day or,
well, I don't care about that. But we pay for the food, the town pays for the food, whether it's, hamburgers and hot dogs or
yeah,
whatever they're looking to have for that day. I mean, if you're gonna have prime rib, you better invite us, but
From what I hear, like the road crew always did theirs separate, and I just think it would be nice if.
I just think it'd be really cool to have it all done in one
have you
time.
bounced it off them as far as
Yeah, I
doing a
think everybody
collaborative?
was like, really? Like, yeah, like during regular hours, so you don't have to come back, it's,
Yeah.
it's just a nice.
I think it's a great idea. I think the town should pay for whatever food they have, whatever you're gonna decide,
Yeah, well-
you and Hannah or whatever, you guys,
Budget and
Okay.
do we need a motion or?
what,
okay.
well,
Well,
if we
you
do
might
a
as well
motion, we
spend the
usually gotta
money,
have
so
a
you
dollar
might as
amount on a budget,
Then we just do it.
Okay. Well, all right, I can bring you
Hold off
back
until
numbers
it-
next week, actually, if I figure out exactly what I'm gonna do.
I say just do it. We're good. Take it out of the select board budget.
Yep.
Awesome.
Using it.
That's right. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a huge morale booster for
Yeah,
everybody involved.
definitely.
And it's also an appreciation thing from us to them.
Correct.
All of them, because we do appreciate them. I know we all do, every one of us.
Thank you.
Old business.
Okay, I put that on there just so I could give you a town hall update, on the schoolhouse. I asked Eric to send this over earlier, so he said, the schoolhouse has been moved and secured to the new building, which is obvious. Slate roof has been completed, exterior insulation, siding and trim have been completed, all windows and exterior doors installed, interior walls built upstairs and down, alarm system rough-in completed, heating system rough-in completed, parking lot lights were installed. The electrical rough-in, fire alarm rough-in will be in the next couple of weeks. And then after that is when they will insulate, sheet rock, and the interior finishings that need to happen. The concrete sidewalks on the back part of the building and the railings will be installed in the spring. And they are hoping, rough estimate, for move-in February 17th. That is the goal. We're really hoping we can have the election here.
Are they gonna have, some tools cleaned up enough so when we do the open house on Sunday now?
Yes, he said
He actually took me out there today and it's just basically an empty,
Yeah, I know it's an empty
Right
shell, but I
now.
didn't know if they had their tools and stuff laid out.
no, they picked everything up.
Yep.
Have to worry about stuff like
Oh,
that.
they said we were all.
Can we legally have the election if we don't have the rear sidewalks and the railings in?
So the
For
real
ADA
sidewalks, yes.
Because
Yes,
they can come
because the
through
rear
here.
sidewalk doesn't, we won't be voting there, we'll be coming through this
They
building.
can come through.
Okay.
Actually, no worries.
And the railings aren't actually required, they are, kind of an extra that we feel should be there, cause it's, there's the drop off on
Yeah.
it, so.
Okay, cool.
That's great news.
That's it.
That's really good news.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that there was.
We're
some
almost
delay in our
done. We're
stuff.
almost there.
We're almost there. We're almost there.
And we're still in the budget that I showed you last, which is like a miracle. The way things change lately, it's like, okay, let's stay in the budget.
Change orders again.
Yeah.
Anybody else have comments on that? Great. Executive session for contractual.
Motion to go into executive session for contractual. Do we know if we're gonna do any action after?
Not sure.
Unsure of action.
I
think we just say we.
There may be action.
Yeah, exactly. Just like we do in the past. We may take action coming out of executive.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Jamie, I.
Bye-bye.
Brian, aye.
Mike, aye.
Recording in progress.
I'll entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Jamie, I.
Bye-bye.
Brian, aye.
Mike, aye, and there will be no action taken. The executive session for legal number 12 has been taken out. So we are at public comment again.
I would just like to make an announcement that the open house and the tree lighting has been postponed and moved to Sunday due to the weather that they're supposed to have on Saturday. So I'd just like to remind everybody that if you can make it on Sunday, we'd really like to see you. Please come see the new town hall and come see the lights lit. Thank you.
Anyone else, Hannah?
Nope, nobody has their hand up.
Nice. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Jamie, I.
But
Bye-bye.
Brian, aye.
Mike, aye. Thank you, everyone.